After striking down his mother's killer, he expected escape, not rebirth. But instead of freedom, he's trapped inside the body of an elf, forced into a world of magic, trials, and secrets that may cost him his very soul. How do you think his life will proceed? Stay with us to know. A voice calls out, "Sam?" A woman's voice, curious, asking what he's staring at. He answers casually, "Just thinking how incredible it would be to change someone's fate with nothing but a wave of your hand." She follows his gaze toward a group of wealthy elites and scoffs. Those people? No work, endless money, beautiful women or handsome men. Ever heard that movie line? Rich kids don't even have wrinkles in their clothes. Money's the iron. As she goes on, Sam drifts away. She warns him, "Hey, if you keep slacking off, the boss is gonna yell at us. What are you even doing?" But Sam's eyes are locked on one man, seated at a casino table, cigar in his mouth, casually gambling. The sight drags him into a memory, himself as a child, sobbing, clutching his mother as she begged him to stay quiet. A man found them, a flash of violence, his mother's sudden, tragic death. The memory ignites his rage once more. Sam whispers, "I'll make it painless." Back in the casino, the man bends to pick up a fallen chip. Sam seizes the moment. He scatters a deck of cards into the air, using the chaos as cover. 10 years you dodged justice, but not today. He flicks a single card with lethal precision. It slices through the air, piercing the man's throat. Blood gushes. Chaos erupts. People scream, "Was it an explosion? Where did the card come from?" But the man is already dead. Sam smirks through the chaos, whispering to himself, "I did it, mother." Someone in the crowd quietly picks up the bloodied card, studying it with suspicion. Sam, unfazed, slips away. With all those cards flying, no one will know which one it was. Now, just get out before the cops show up. But luck turns. In an alley, a group of thugs blocks his path. "Hey, casino boy, lend us some cash. We'll pay you back once we win it all back." Sam glares. Broke gamblers looking for trouble. He could knock them out, but that'd only draw attention. He sighs, reaching into his bag. But one thug yanks it away, rummaging inside. He pulls out a wooden doll. They laugh. "What are you, 10? Still playing with dolls?" Sam's voice sharpens. "Give it back. That's the last thing my mother left me." One thug snarls, striking Sam so hard he spits blood. "I hate those eyes of yours." Blood drips onto the doll. Suddenly, its eyes glow, and a sinister smile spreads across its wooden face. Sam's aura is entirely different. His voice cuts cold, wondering where he is. He looks at these men, saying, "No elemental reading at all. What are you supposed to be? Failed beastkin?" But then, Sam blinks. He's no longer in the alley. Voices call out, "Sarah! Sarah!" He wakes in a grassy field, barefoot, a bow clutched in his hands. Confused, he mutters, "Wasn't I just in that alley?" Elves surround him. One mocks, "Scared, Sarah? Then crawl into your treehouse and watch us become the next chief under the tree's blessing." Another teases, "Shocked by wind elf Nikki? Don't be. Archery flows in our blood. If I were you, I'd surrender now." Sam looks down at her body. He's inside Sarah's body. Dream? Hallucination? Did that hit me that hard in the head? No, snap out of it. The elves notice him slapping himself, whispering nervously. Another person encourages, "Relax, Sarah. Archery is our heritage, but compassion is what makes a leader." The other elves notice him being so nervous that he's failing to hold the bow properly. Sam finally notices the bow in his hands, muttering, "I've never even touched one before." The elves murmur in confusion. Sarah never touched a bow? They declare, "Magic isn't allowed, just eyes and instincts. That's how wind elves duel. The target is only 100 paces." Sam draws an arrow, spins it between his fingers. One elf gasps, "What is she doing? And that is my shot and arrow." He recalls the card he threw back in his world, the strike that avenged his mother, justice in a single throw. Archery, this is second nature. He releases. The arrow whistles through the air, piercing the bullseye. Silence falls. The elves are stunned. Sarah collapses to the ground, and Sam's inner voice sighs. Big boobs really are nothing but trouble. Sarah, now in Sam's body, stared down the thugs. Move aside, I'm heading back to the tribe unless you want to taste real magic. The men broke into laughter. Did we hit him too hard? Or is he faking this for hospital money? One snickered. Sarah acted spaced out. Another thug leaned in, sneering. Maybe the reason you're dazed is because we didn't hit you enough. As they prepared to strike again, she whispered an incantation. Spirit of life, hidden in the void, grant me the power to bend life itself. Seed, grow. She unleashed it, only for nothing to happen. Where's my magic, she thought, panic flickering. The men lunged at her, furious, but something was different. Her body felt light, weightless. She dodged their blows with ease, faster than she had ever moved before. And then she noticed it. Floating in her vision was a strange message. Success rate of next action, 0%, 1%, 2%. No matter how she tried, she couldn't swipe it away. Each dodge raised the number higher by 1. Grinning, she challenges them. The thugs swung until their bodies gave out, exhausted. The number hit 70%. Sarah invoked the spell again. This time, green tendrils erupted, vines forcing their way out of the men's mouths. Their eyes bulged in horror as watermelons sprouted from their throats. I had watermelon for lunch, one choked. But I didn't even eat watermelon, cried another. Sarah dusted off her hands, muttering, weird place, only getting weirder. Her eyes fell on a wooden doll lying nearby. This one looked like her. When I used magic, I sensed energy from another life tree, she whispered. Other tribes must be out there. I need to find them. She ventured forward, but instead of forests, she entered a city of steel and smoke. Towers replaced trees. Cars roared like beasts. No life flowed here. She called it in disgust, miserable. The people, frail bodies, ragged breathing, dull eyes, looked like they had never seen battle. Perhaps a displaced tribe, Sarah reasoned, but at least they survived the dragon storms. Determined, she said, I'll meet their leader, learn how he rebuilt his people. Then I'll return with this knowledge and claim the chief's seat. From afar, a shout echoed, Goblins march! Her eyes lit up. Goblins, frontliners of every dragon storm, savage and bloodthirsty. She grabbed a clay pot like a weapon. But what stood before her were just a few men catcalling women. Sarah's eyes narrowed. Have they shape-shifted? Already infiltrated the city? Meanwhile, Sam, in Sarah's elf body, stood among her kin. One elf scoffed. I'll let you get ahead this time, Sarah, but don't get cocky. The chief's seat will be mine. Another person, Sarah isn't cocky, she's just distracted. He smiled warmly. Is something bothering you? The rest of the elves spoke of killing goblins, purifying their souls, never backing down. Sam pieced it together. He has been isekai'd into a world of magic and brought a system with him. But his system was twisted. Where Sarah saw success rate, his vision read, death rate of next action, 70%. Not a cheat, a curse. But no matter what, he has to blend in without getting exposed. The elves left. Sam kept following them. The elves stopped, calling, Sarah, why are you following us? Did you forget your treehouse? Sam came back to the massive life tree, his new home. He muttered, my first real test. The elves watched as Sarah circled the tree 3 times. Is she looking for a ladder? Or for her confidence, perhaps? Next moment, Sam hugged the trunk, picked at the bark, hung upside down, then started climbing. Training for a special move? No, she's just gonna fall. He did, then tried again, and again. Finally, after 3 tries, he reached the top. One elf laughed. Good thing goblins don't know this technique. The others kept whispering, eyes wide. After about 30 minutes, she was finally in her treehouse. Sam opened the system and saw that same message again. She specified the death rate for walking, thinking, how could a simple thing such as walking kill me? But to her surprise, as she walked a little, the floor shattered beneath her feet. The impact was sudden and sharp, though it didn't leave any serious injury. She sighed in relief, brushing off the dust, and mumbled, "Is that it?" Just as she spoke, some sort of energy ring released from her tummy. It felt like something had exploded inside of her, spreading a strange warmth that made her skin tingle. She clutched her stomach, startled by the sensation. As it was happening, a pot of water on the shelf above trembled and almost fell on her, but she quickly dodged it, the pot smashing into pieces beside her. The near miss made her heart race. Now it felt kind of dangerous. Then suddenly, a dragon popped up, breaking through the wall of her house with a thunderous crash. The air filled with dust and flying splinters as its massive head pushed through the wooden planks. Sam, caught off guard, grabbed the nearest thing, a broken piece of glass, and threw it towards the dragon's eye. The sharp shards struck true, blinding it in one eye. The dragon roared in pain, shaking the entire treehouse, its breath scorching hot against her face. A voice came from behind the dragon, firm but calm, and the creature's rage began to settle. It was that boy from earlier. He rushed forward, placing a hand on the dragon's neck and whispering something under his breath until it stopped thrashing. He turned to Sam, concern in his eyes, and asked if she was okay. Sam nodded weakly, still shaken from the chaos. The boy mentioned that he had just tamed the dragon last month, so controlling it was still a little rusty. He gave a small apologetic smile, explaining that it was calm now, but not completely obedient yet. Kneeling beside her, he began to heal her injuries with a soft green light. Sam felt his pain ease, his breathing slowing. But before he could finish, he glanced outside through the broken wall and muttered that there wasn't much time left. He would heal her fully later. Sam frowned and asked what had happened. The boy's expression grew grim. He replied that the dragon storm was here and that the goblin horde had already reached the forest's edge. The sound of distant rumbling filled the air, faint but growing louder by the second. Without another word, they both climbed onto the dragon's back. The dragon spread its wings and took off, soaring into the air with a powerful gust that sent leaves swirling below. Sam clung tightly to the dragon's scales, his mind spinning from everything that had just happened. The 70% death rate was really hazardous. It wasn't just a number. He could have died. As the wind whipped past his face, he noticed that the system UI had changed. It now simply stated that since he had survived a lethal trial, he had been granted 70 attribute points, which he could use to enhance his abilities. Intrigued, he opened the panel and examined it. He proceeded to allocate the points and immediately felt a strong flow of magic coursing through his body. Magic, he realized, was cast by the reaction of traits and elements. There were countless traits and elements, and combining them would create entirely new forms of magic. The process was fascinating, but also dangerous. Sam understood now why losing control during the mixing process was so common, and why the other elves acted like it was no big deal. He recalled the 70 points she had received from the death trial before, and decided to allocate them all into vitality. The system notified him that traits and elements that reach 100 become mastered, unlocking a law-gifted skill. The discovery gave Sam a fair idea of how to progress, how to grind his way up. Determined, he manually set the death rate of his next action to 30% and began casting Seed Mutation. The moment he did, the familiar dizziness returned. The energy inside him spun wildly out of control, and before he could stabilize it, his knees gave out. He fell from the dragon's back, but the creature swooped down swiftly, catching him before he hit the ground. The boy looked back at him with concern and told him not to push himself too hard. Becoming an elf king, he said, takes centuries. For now, their job was to guard the forest from the dragon storm. Sam nodded faintly, apologizing for his recklessness. When he checked the system again, he realized he had received 100 attribute points from the action. Excitement surged through him. He poured 97 of them into vitality, and as he did, his body felt stronger, steadier, and more connected to the flow of nature around him. The system chimed softly. He had unlocked new skills, Seed Reversal and Seed Fusion. The wind howled as the dragon carried them higher into the stormy sky, and Sam, though exhausted, couldn't help but feel a strange thrill rising within him. He was beginning to understand this world and his place in it. As they reached the place, another elf immediately pointed out that the tree elf, Cyan, and the life elf, Sarah, had arrived. Her tone was teasing as she exclaimed that it had taken them quite some time to get there, and mockingly added that Sarah should have just stayed in her treehouse and taken a nap instead. Cyan shot her a look and said, "Nikki, don't say that. I told you I'm still not great at controlling the Drake," the dragon. He sighed, brushing some dust off his shoulder, and then asked about the situation. Nikki's expression turned serious. She said that she could hear the wind. Something was coming, and fast. Their enemies were closing in. Cyan's eyes widened in surprise. "That fast?" he muttered, looking toward the forest edge. Meanwhile, Sam was quietly reading the situation, trying to take everything in. From what he could tell, this world was filled entirely with elves. He wondered if there were any humans here at all. The green elves seemed to be the most common, spread across the forest like the trees themselves. As for Sarah, she was a life elf, one of the rarer kinds, alongside tree, wind, and light elves. Their titles reflected their special affinities, and that was why they were grouped together as potential candidates for the next chief of the tribe. Soon, the Elder and the Knight Commander arrived. The Knight's voice boomed across the clearing, ordering all elves to line up. Magic-wielding lower elves were to form the first row, melee fighters in the second, and long-range archers in the third. The elves moved quickly, forming ranks with practiced precision. Sam looked around, feeling a mix of awe and pressure. Everyone there looked like a seasoned veteran. He tried to reassure himself by recalling his experiences fighting goblins in games. They were low-level monsters, easy to deal with. It shouldn't be too hard, he thought, trying to stay calm. The knight then announced that Beatrice was distributing the gear. Once that was done, he would assign everyone their missions. Elder Beatrice stepped forward, gently placing a flower on the ground. A surge of energy rippled outward as she chanted, "Law, bloom, inspiration flower." The petals glowed faintly, radiating magic that spread across the clearing. As everyone received their gear, Nikki scoffed. "Show off," she muttered under her breath. She inspected the weapon she got, a hollow arrow, and smirked. "With my wind magic, I can land these clearly from a kilometer away." The knight nodded approvingly and assigned the wind elf Nikki to lead the archers on the third front. Cyan, meanwhile, was visibly thrilled by his own gear and the power coursing through his body. "I'll make better use of my dragon in battle this time," he said eagerly. The knight smiled slightly and ordered him to lead the cavalry to the first front. The knight continued assigning roles. Shrub elves were to defend the third front, Birdkeeper elf Tilly would take the assassins and scouts to the second front, and several other elves were positioned accordingly. The regular elves nearby murmured in envy, complaining that they couldn't even get their flower buds to open. Just then, another elf stepped forward, offering to help them bloom their flowers. She cast a spell called Sunlight Blessing. The buds opened, but instead of glowing weapons, they revealed plain old swords. The elf smiled faintly and explained that Elder Beatrice's inspiration flower tailored the perfect gear for each individual's abilities. She then turned her sharp gaze towards Sarah, staring at her with suspicion. Sarah tilted her head and asked, "What's the matter?" The elf hesitated, then said, "Something's off about you. You're acting strange." Sarah forced a small smile. "I'm just a little nervous." The elf crossed her arms. "Nervous? That's not like you. Before, you used to get fired up just by hearing the word goblin. You'd be full of rage and vengeance. Could it be that—" Sam froze inside, anxious that he might get exposed. The elf continued, "That you already know about it?" Sam nodded faintly, agreeing to everything she said, hoping not to draw attention. The elf then said gravely, "Your arch enemy, the poison dragon, has returned." Nikki clicked her tongue. Back then, to outshine the other candidates, Sarah led 3 green elves and stormed the dragon's lair all on her own. Only she survived. The nearby green elves whispered among themselves, wondering if Sarah would use them as pawns again for her own glory. Sam processed everything silently. So that's why the wind elves seemed to hold a grudge against her. But something didn't add up. Wait, Back then, she only had 2 skills, and she still charged into the dragon's lair? Elder Beatrice stepped in, her tone calm but firm. That's enough, Nikki. Don't pick on Sarah anymore. That was 30 years ago. She was reckless back then, but she loves this tribe as much as any of us. Beatrice then turned to Sarah and told her to check what kind of gear suited her best. Nikki muttered under her breath, the elders always going easy on her. To open the flower, one had to guide their magic element and then let the bloom reveal itself. Sam, still in Sarah's body, wondered what kind of gear he would receive. Sarah focused and channeled her energy into the flower. Slowly, it opened, revealing a handful of sunflower seeds. She blinked in confusion. The elders smiled warmly, patting her head. Seeds represent hope, Beatrice said softly. They are the origin of our forest elf tribe. Believe in yourself. She then addressed both life elf Sarah and light elf Noah, the elf from before. They would be part of the mobile unit and were to stay flexible in battle. A bit later, Noah approached Sarah, sharing her plan. She explained how they would use the forest's terrain to set up 3-layered traps to wear down the enemy. The first front, warriors and cavalry for direct combat. The second front, scouts and assassins to cover the gaps. The third front, shielders and long-range archers for defense and support. Sarah gazed toward the distant tree line where dark shapes were beginning to move. Her expression hardened. "They're coming," she said quietly. Then, louder and with resolve, she added, "This battle won't be easy." And so, the line between challenge and fate begins to blur. What started as a curious experiment with a death rate system has turned into something far beyond Sam's control. Each action, each choice, pushes him closer to the truth, and perhaps to his own end. The world of elves, dragons, and laws of magic is shifting, and the question remains, who or what is truly behind it all? How did Sam end up here in the first place? Will Sam uncover the secret of this world, or will she be swallowed by the battles that await? One thing is certain, this is only the beginning.